Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Cicada here. Today, we're going to be diving into some brand new leaks about the Nintendo Switch 2 with a big reveal just 48 hours away. I think we got some juicy details about that infamous C button you've been seeing a lot about. So let's kind of get into this here. This button has been the subject of so much speculation for months now. This is going back way back into the summer months, up until we saw those first molds of the new magnetic Joy-Cons before they even had like the circuitry and any of the internal components put into it. But now it seems like we finally have a solid lead as to what this button might actually do. And spoiler, it might not be exactly what you were expecting. So before we get into the leaks and rumors, let's take a step back and look at the history of Nintendo C button. Because why does this little button keep showing up? And why does it matter so much? But by the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you'd like, and leave a comment below, good or bad. Anything will help the channel grow. So I would appreciate that. But anyway, let's get into the content and let's get into the subject here, the subject matter at hand. So let's rewind back to the mid to late 1990s when the Nintendo 64 was first introduced. We went from 16-bit sprite-based graphics to 3D polygonal graphics, right? So that was a huge technological leap in the 90s. Nintendo, I guess, felt like we probably are going to need new buttons on the controller, and some of those buttons would probably have to do with the 3D spatial interface with the user, the player, and the game. So they put these 4 C buttons on the Nintendo 64 controller. They were used for the camera primarily. Zelda, I think was for, you could map things to those C buttons, but Mario 64 utilized the camera buttons, and they gave players a way to navigate 3D environments. And that was just like that was just the thing. That was a huge leap forward from 16-bit to 3D, and it was kind of just like a staple. Nintendo kind of, innovated, and that's what they did. And then we go and we fast forward to the 2000s, and Nintendo's next console, which was the GameCube, had an evolved concept of the C buttons again, but this time it was a stick. It was the C stick. So if you remember the C stick, it still continued that tradition of controlling the camera, but it also added some more nuanced movements for games like Metroid Prime and Super Smash Bros. But then after that came the Wii, right? And the nunchuck attachment for the Wiimote also had a C button. And that was also, it was like a secondary input for a camera, or a camera toggle, essentially. So the C button has a lot of historical context when it comes to Nintendo. And historically, in that Nintendo context, the C button has always been tied to navigation and interaction, especially in 3D environments. So when we saw the leaked Joy-Cons for the Switch 2, most people assumed that the new C buttons were going to be camera related. I mean, that has been the tradition, right? So, but as it turns out, this new C button might actually be something completely different, and I'm actually super excited. I'm super excited to kind of talk about what the C button actually might be for, because for me, this is a way bigger leap than from 16-bit to 3D graphics. This is Nintendo possibly finally modernizing in a way that's going to benefit the players and the gamers and the Nintendo fans that are part of that Nintendo ecosystem, right? So, let's talk about the leak itself, because the leak itself is a little dubious. I'm not gonna front on that, but at the same time, we're all engaging in baseless speculation here, right? So let's and we know it's almost certain fact at this point that we're gonna get some sort of official Nintendo look, an official Nintendo reveal of this console on Thursday, January 16th, 2025. So let's just fast forward today for a moment, and let's just bring up what this leak is. So we're gonna bring it up here on the screen. Boom, big reveal. Exclusive C button and chat functionality. This is the actual screenshot. I reposted this onto my ex Twitter account. This came from someone called Do Not Disturb. I don't know who this person is, And obviously this came from a Nintendo Switch leaked, Discord server, Nintendo Switch Discord server that talks about leaks. So, we don't really have anything to corroborate this kind of information, right? So this is interesting. And they're basically saying they have access to the Nintendo Switch 2 SDK, which is kind of crazy, right? But then they say data mines of the current Switch OS and exclusive SDK leaks have confirmed that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have GC and VC functionality, codenamed Campus. C word, C, Campus, C word. This is what the C button may actually be for. Unconfirmed, but 99.99% sure. Groups will support up to 12 NSO subscribers. There will be screen sharing, nothing like Miiverse. Vidmeo isn't real. Okay, we were kind of on the Vidmeo train, but this is still kind of, I don't understand, this is almost just as big as Vidmeo, if it's true. Feel free, and then they add a disclaimer saying, feel free not to believe this, of course, but mark my words, this will be official in 48 hours. So there's our big reveal. Very interesting. So just to say the least, the fact that we have this leak that's talking about the C button is gonna be some kind of social function, some kind of social component to the operating system and UI. So that's really, really cool. So what is this Campus feature, right? So this thing is essentially could be Nintendo's answer to Discord or Xbox Live's party system. And if it is true that this is going to be what is going to be revealed as part of the Nintendo Switch ecosystem going forward, it's a massive departure from anything Nintendo has done in the past. Nintendo's messed around with PictoChat, Street Pass, all these things. This is on a whole different level. I personally, this is my conjecture, I believe that the NSO playtest has tied into this. There's also another rumor that's going around right now that Nintendo had gotten an SSL certificate for some type of new server that they're going to be, that they're calling Power. I'm trying to research into that right now, so that's a whole other thing. But the fact that it could have screen sharing, that's wild. Imagine being able to share your screen directly with friends during a game. That would be a first for Nintendo and really could bring them closer and give them parity to the ecosystems of PlayStation and Xbox, essentially modernizing their environment to a point where we might actually consider this as this new Nintendo console as a current gen system. That would be crazy. But why does this little button matter so much? First, its placement on the Joy-Con is interesting. It's diametrically opposed to the capture button, creating a sense of symmetry, right? So you have this symmetry between the capture button and this new C button. So it's obviously not just an input for, a game. This is obviously some type of interaction with the console. But hey, let's just talk about this big reveal that's coming up, right? Because we're going to actually get answers this time. And, Nate the Hate, he and other fanboard people and other sources out there are corroborating this date. So it looks like it's going to actually happen. We're going to get a look at this. But the fact that it's going to focus, the fact that it's going to focus solely on hardware, and we're not going to see a lot of software. I'm wondering exactly what that means. I'm wondering if there's some loss in translation there. I do feel like, I think when they were saying they're talking about software, I feel like that they were talking about games. I think we will see some OS software functionality. I think that's all going to tie into this reveal. I think that's what has to happen, even if we don't see games. There's a lot of games I also think that are going to drop trailers on Thursday after the announcement from Nintendo. So that's another big thing. But yeah, this is going to be, there's still so much we don't know. Campus could obviously support an achievement system. Like I was saying to someone I was talking to the other day, I never noticed when I got the new Mario Party Jamboree game that had achievements in it. I don't remember any other Mario Party or any other Nintendo game really having their own built-in achievement systems. I could be wrong about that, but that was something I did notice a couple months ago when they released that game. But yeah, this is actually pushing Nintendo. If it's true, it's pushing Nintendo finally back into the modern era of gaming. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But it's all up in the air right now. I think this is a really fun topic to talk about. I was on the Vidmeo train. I'm totally okay with this being some type of communication chat feature. I think that's exactly what we needed. I also think that the USB
C port on the top has symmetry with that button, because I think that USB-C port on the top is going to be more so for like headsets, cameras, and stuff like that are all going to tie into this new feature. And it's not just going to be for tabletop pass-through charging. I think that would be a stupid, boring reason to put another USB charging port, USB port on the top of the system. They didn't think they needed it with the OG Switch or even the OLED. They obviously have a bigger reason for putting it on the top of the console this time around. So anyway, what do you guys all think? Is Campus going to be a game changer if this is actually true? Is it going to be just another silly gimmick? Is it going to be just a horribly implemented version of Discord's voice chat system and party up system with voice chat and group chats and stuff like that? Who knows? But let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe too if you feel like it. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.